From Chains to Champion, The Unbelievable Journey of Max. Introduction: Max's early life. Max was a golden retriever with a soft caramel coat and big, soulful brown eyes. He had a playful nature and a gentle heart, always wagging his tail even at strangers. Max was adopted as a young pup by a seemingly kind family in a quiet suburban neighborhood. They appeared loving and excited to welcome him into their home. For the first few weeks, Max lived like any dog should, playing in the yard, eating good food, and receiving plenty of cuddles. But as time passed, the warmth in the household began to fade. What began as a dream life slowly unraveled into something far darker. The abuse begins. The first signs were subtle. Missed meals, long hours alone in the backyard. The family that once played fetch with Max now seemed to forget he existed. As weeks turned into months, the neglect worsened. Max was left tied to a short chain day and night, with little shelter from the sun or rain. His bowl was often empty. His fur became matted and his once bright eyes turned dull. The emotional toll was even heavier. He was no longer called by name. Instead, he was shouted at, hit with broomsticks, or kicked away when he sought attention. Nights were filled with whimpers, but there was no one to listen. Neighbors began to notice. Children who passed by saw Max cowering under a broken bench or limping in the dirt. One woman, Mrs. Reynolds, saw him every morning on her walk, and was heartbroken by his deteriorating condition. Rescue and recovery. One stormy night, Max managed to slip out when his frayed collar snapped. Weak and scared, he wandered the streets until Mrs. Reynolds spotted him the next morning. Soaked and shivering, without hesitation, she wrapped him in a blanket and took him to the local rescue organization, Poor Haven. The staff at Poor Haven were shocked by his state. He was underweight, covered in sores, and emotionally shut down. But they didn't give up. Max was given medical care, a warm bed, and most importantly, affection. Weeks passed. Max began to lift his head more. He wagged his tail again. Slowly, he learned to trust the humans around him. Volunteers would sit with him for hours, just to help him feel safe. His physical wounds healed, and bit by bit, his spirit returned. A new beginning. 3 months into his recovery, a woman named Claire visited Poor Haven. She had recently lost her senior dog and wasn't sure she was ready to adopt again. But when she saw Max, something clicked. He looked up at her with cautious hope. Their bond was instant. Claire took Max home to her cozy countryside house. There were rolling fields, a big comfy bed, and endless love. At first, Max was hesitant. Loud noises startled him, and he flinched when touched suddenly. But Claire was patient. She spoke softly, moved slowly, and gave Max the time he needed. Over the next year, Max blossomed. He ran freely in the fields, played with neighborhood dogs, and slept at the foot of Claire's bed every night. He had found his forever home and the love he deserved. The unbelievable act. 2 years after his rescue, something incredible happened. Claire's niece, Lily, was playing by the river behind the house. She slipped and fell into the water. The current was strong, and Lily's cries for help echoed through the trees. Max heard the screams and bolted toward the river. Without hesitation, he jumped in. He swam with determination, gripping Lily's clothes in his mouth and pulling her toward the bank. Claire arrived moments later, just in time to see Max dragging Lily to safety. News of Max's heroism spread quickly. Local news channels covered the story. The footage of the wet, panting dog who had once been abused, now saving a child's life, went viral. Messages poured in from all over the world. People were amazed that a dog who had once been broken could become a hero. Conclusion. Max's journey from chains to champion touched hearts everywhere. He had faced unimaginable cruelty, but through kindness, patience, and love, he had transformed into a symbol of hope. His story became a lesson in resilience, that no matter how dark the past, the future can still shine bright. Max reminded the world of the power of second chances. Today, Max is happy, healthy, and loved. He spends his days lounging in the sun, going on hikes with Claire, and visiting schools as a therapy dog. Children hug him, unaware of the pain he once endured. All they see is a brave, beautiful soul who chose to trust again. And Max. He knows is finally home.